He's the happy conservative warrior. From the Relief Factor Studios, here's Mike Gallagher.
We made it. We got through the week. The Democrat National Convention is mercifully over. As painful as it was for all of us who know what terrible, terrible direction the country is headed and has been heading for the last 3.5 years, imagine what it must have felt like for a grandmother thrown into jail because she dared try to keep her family business open when Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Kamala Harris's vice presidential running mate imposed the tyrannical, absurd, over-the-top COVID lockdown mandates. And there are cases like this all over America. I remember in Texas, there was a woman that had a hair salon, and they went after her. And this is Dallas, Texas. But in blue Minnesota, and you've seen the video by now of Tim Walz's National Guard and police firing paintball guns at people minding their own business on their front porch after the George Floyd riots were going on, or during the George Floyd riots. Get in your house! Get in your house! Well, Lisa Hansan owned a wine and coffee bistro called The Interchange. It's in a community about an hour and a half from Minneapolis. She and her husband, Vern, her employees, the entire state was shut down by Tim Walz. And her wine and coffee bistro initially complied, but then, look, she realized at some point, we'll lose the business forever. If we want to open up and customers want to come, then let's do that. And when I heard that this woman wound up spending 60 days in jail, I could not believe it. So, believe it. Joining us now is the grandmother, the wife, mother, who married her high school sweetheart at the tender age of 18, Lisa Hansan. Lisa, I am so grateful that you could join us here on the Mike Gallagher Show. Thank you very much. I know we had a little technical thing earlier, so we had to delay you a little bit, and I apologize for that, but I'm so glad to see your face on Salem News Channel and join us here on the radio.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Well, I can't believe your story. I mean, I know that the COVID lockdown and that whole era feels like a bad memory and a fog for many, many people. Am I misrepresenting any of the facts of your case? Is there more to this that I don't know about? Are you telling me that you and your husband, trying desperately to keep the bistro alive and keep it open, you dared open the bistro, they arrested you, convicted you in a trial, and they sent you to jail for 60 days? Did that actually happen to you?
That actually happened, yeah, in America, in an American court. The whole story is crazy. Tim Walz, I mean, this obviously came down from the top. Tim Walz not only worked, he didn't work alone in this. Attorney General Keith Ellison needs some credit for what they did to me and to every other business owner in the state. And Mike, remember, it wasn't every business that was shut down. The Walmarts, the Targets, the big box stores got to stay open. The liquor stores and the strip clubs got to stay open because they were all deemed essential businesses. It was the bars, the restaurants, dance studios, etc., hair salons, nail salons. We all got shut down. So it made no sense at all, unless you're looking at what their planned agenda is. And of course, then it makes a lot of sense. But Tim Walz is a tyrant of tyrants. He's committed crimes against the people of Minnesota. Do you not think that, and why I say that is because he unconstitutionally and illegally shut businesses down that he had no authority to do. He's not given constitutional authority, neither in the U.S. or the state of Minnesota Constitution. So here we are, and he's gotten away with it so far.
What does that feel like to spend 60 nights behind bars for doing something that you felt was for your family, for your employees, for your community? I mean, you think about the absurdity of putting somebody in jail for keeping a bistro open. Customers don't have to go into your bistro. If they're worried they're going to get COVID, if they're afraid, well, nobody's holding a gun to their head to go into your business. But if your customers wanted to go and you wanted, What did that feel like, Lisa, to spend 60 days in jail?
Oh, I mean, I've never experienced that before. I've never spent a day in jail. I've never had my rights. My rights were stripped from me. Of course, I was in. It was very scary the first few days or several days that I was there.
Where were you incarcerated, Lisa?
I was incarcerated the vast majority of that time in Freeborn County, in the city where my business was located, Albert Lea, Minnesota, in the detention center, the adult detention center, right there in Albert Lea.
And you went
Yeah.
through the regular, I mean, were you booked and fingerprinted and all that stuff when you when
All of it. Just
all
as
of
if
it?
I was a criminal. Just as if I was a criminal. Yeah, the judicial system in the state of Minnesota, every judge that I faced is in lockstep with the governor. He was able to what the plan was to make me look like a criminal, like a dangerous criminal, not just a criminal, but a dangerous criminal, and to make an example out of me. I was not even allowed to present my defense in the court of law. So there's a whole lot to this story, and I know, Mike, we don't have time to cover.
No, but I
you know,
do. But
99%
I
of it.
know we do but that's important too, because as I understand it, there was a trial, and
There was.
they didn't even let you present a defense.
That's right. In the pretrial, I was told that if I presented my defense, which was constitutional, statutory, and case law, if I presented that, spoke about it, mentioned it in front of the jury, I would be held in contempt of court. I did try to mention it on several occasions. I was warned again by the judge. You will be held in contempt. That was a strategy that we chose not to use. So listen to this. No due process. Wasn't able to present my defense. What choice did they did have a choice, but the jury was ignorant, as I was ignorant before going into all of this, having my eyes opened and learning, what our rights, et cetera, are. I'm embarrassed to say I was with a lot of Americans where we didn't even know we don't even know. Too many Americans still don't know what our God-given, constitutionally protected rights are in America. And we have these leaders that are usurping the authority given them right and left all the time. And again, Walz is a good example of that. A lot of people are saying, we're hearing this, on some of the major news medias, that Walz is cuddly, that he is coach-like, that he's just a good dad.
Middle of the road guy.
Not the
He's a
role.
mainstream
Yeah,
Democrat,
no.
middle of the road guy, Lisa. Middle of the road
No,
guy.
he's not. I didn't vote for him, but when he did get in, we kind of thought, well, gosh, maybe he's going to be a little bit moderate. Boy, were we wrong. We know firsthand. I know firsthand what Governor Walz has done to the Minnesota people, to the business owners, the farmers, the school kids. He shut down churches during that time as well. Churches, schools, the businesses. He has said this over and over again. Quoted, "Mind your own." I'll say, "Darn, mind your own darn business." This is what he said back to us. It's quoted. There's a video out there. I'm sure you've seen it.
Oh, that's a big talk. Oh no, that's a talking point. He says it over and over and over again.
He couldn't be more contradictive of what he actually did to Minnesotans, right?
Right.
I like Senator Amy Klobuchar's. Now, I didn't vote for her either, but listen, I agree completely with what she said in her speech before Walz came on at the DNC. She said Walz will do the same for the nation as he has done for Minnesota, and I would like to say, you betcha he will. But what has he done for Minnesota? He has so many violations and infractions against the people. Walz mentioned freedom of healthcare decisions. Are you kidding me? He mandated masks. He mandated a medical advice over our faces all through COVID. These are lies. We all know they're lies, and we need to tell our neighbors. These are lies that we are being told by Walz, by the Walz and Harris campaign, by the MSMs. He's destroyed people's businesses. He destroyed their lives. He destroyed their employees' lives. What about the 18 plus? It's over 20 now, billion with a B surplus. Did he give any tax surplus? Did he give any of that money back to the taxpayers? He said he was going to, but again, he's a liar. So no, he didn't.
Well, he's a liar and he's a tyrant and he's dangerous and she's dangerous. And this is a dangerous, wicked ticket that, frankly, Amy Klobuchar was right. If Americans are stupid enough to vote for this ticket, we're going to turn into what you went through. I've got some notes about your life, and I'm saddened that you don't have the business and you left. But on the other hand, it's an inspirational talking point or a bio point that I want to share with our audience. Today, Lisa and her husband no longer live in Minnesota, the land of communist policies that are intended to destroy liberty and garner tyranny for those at the top. She continues to put her faith in her Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and trust him to direct her path as she continues to walk with him. That's such a beautiful lesson for everybody who's hearing our conversation right now, Lisa. First of all, as just a fellow American who was in Minneapolis last weekend, as a matter of fact, I am so sorry for what you went through. I am so heartbroken for the indignities that you suffered. And I know our audience is too, and we're praying for you and we lift you up because since 2020, you've become a powerful voice. Look, they don't want us to know what Tim Walz and Kamala Harris are all about. They're trying to remake Kamala Harris now frantically because if people know what these people can do, they wouldn't get elected dog catcher in Chaska, Minnesota. But the goal is to run out the clock and to try to fool enough of the people enough of the time. And thanks to people like you, Lisa Hansan, we're not going to let them. So thank you for your voice. Amen. And thank you for and keep fighting the good fight. And you know where that comes from because I know you're a Bible believing woman. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Lisa. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you joining us.
Mike.
Lisa Hansan, wife, mother, grandmother, spent 60 days. She got 90 days. And they only made her serve 60. Wasn't that generous of Tim Walz and the Minnesota tyrants? This is what's on the ballot on November the 5th. And it was very important for me to share that conversation with you. This is what's on the ballot on November the 5th. Choose wisely. Welcome aboard. I'm in a oddly cheerful, optimistic, happy mood. We're off to South Carolina after the show to be in the big Trump boat parade on beautiful Lake Kiowee tomorrow. We're going to be streaming it on X and on our YouTube channel. We got a lot of followers today on X. Follow me at Gallagher Show. Follow the Mike Gallagher Show on X, and we're going to be streaming video, and we got cameras set up. Joey's been putting up banners and signs and flags. The huge Trump boat parade tomorrow on beautiful Lake Kiowee, South Carolina, and I'll be there. I hope to meet you there in person. Come on out and join us. 98.9 WORD is going to have a big, strong presence there. I can't wait. 800-655-MIKE is our number. Join us. Let's get your reaction to all of this. Again, finally over. It's the show, the sham, the charade is done. The DNC, thankfully, is finished. Now the real work begins.